Okay guys, we are back with 32 gigabytes of RAM. And Windows is a blood-sucking freaking operating system. I was only using up a little over 5 gigs before just getting to the desktop. Now that I put 32 gigs of RAM in this puppy, it's taking 7 gigs. It's like, just to get to the desktop. Like, come on! Anyway, so the more you feed it, the more it sucks out of you. So anyways, we're still in performance mode, obviously, and we're gonna FPS some games and see how they do. So we're gonna start out at Far Cry first and see if there's any improvements at all. Not that it doesn't run fast enough already, it's pretty nuts. Anyways, we're not gonna have any game sound for you guys. I actually have a new set of wireless gamer headphones my wife bought me, which I'll be doing a review on for you guys soon. They are freaking awesome, and built-in mic, the whole 9, so it's like, sweet! Online gaming is going to be so much fun now. Anyways, so let's get to this. I'm actually in the cooler now, which I think I want to not go into this level. I think we're going to go somewhere else. Yeah, let's try there. I tell you, the computer boots way faster now too. It was like, turn the power on, poof, you're there. So we're 470s, 500s, and okay, now that I killed those two guys, let me zoom this in for you guys onto the FPS part of the screen, because that's the important thing here we want to see is the FPS. And I know you're going to miss out on part of the game, but the idea here is to see the FPS numbers here. So let me try and scoot the camera around well enough, and I think we should be pretty much okay about there. So there we go. So this is an old version of Far Cry, and of course with that, I mean the settings are jacked right to the hilt on the game, and because it's a 17-year-old game and this is a steroided PC, yeah, I expect to see some high FPS numbers with all the settings jacked to the hilt. You know, I really do expect to see that. Like I told you guys in the other video too, there was no way I could do a screen recording of this and have the FPS counter show up, because for some reason NVIDIA software, everything still shows on the screen while I'm recording, but on the playback the FPS counter is like not there, so it doesn't get recorded for some reason. So we're definitely still getting the high FPS numbers. That's definitely to be expected. The big thing is, you know, games like Cyberpunk, for example. Now this is going to take a minute or two to boot, so sorry for the delay. I should have probably done that one first, obviously, and had it pre-launched. But I wanted to show you guys that, you know, we've got 32 gigs of RAM in this thing now, right? And see if we get any improvements from previous. But anyways, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. We're just doing this as so I don't say anything. Okay, continue. Games are definitely loading much quicker. Now I'm not even going anywhere near the SSD drive or the NVMe SSD for the virtual memory, because this game always put me into virtual memory with 16 gigs of RAM. It was just like, because it wants 16 to itself, and if it sees it, it'll take it, but it can't take it when Windows is already blood-sucking you for almost 6 gigs, you know, so there wasn't enough there. So, you know, and there's still, I mean, I have dedicated video, which is fine, with its own video RAM, but thing is, the game really does want the higher amount of RAM. If you've got it available, it'll take it, you know, but it can't take what it can't access, that's for sure. Well, now it can have all it wants, and I have leftover RAM because I got about 20 odd gigs free now, and the game won't take more than 16, period. Now my graphics, again, these are on high and ultra high settings, which is how the game set itself up on the first initial boot. So we're getting like 30s, 40s. We're getting relatively the same as what we had before. So there's really no actual improvement here with Cyberpunk. I didn't think we'd get much of an improvement, if anything anyways, but you can always hope, right? Let's see if Minecraft has any kind of change. So at least now there won't be any going into the SSD for virtual memory, or swap, as you know, the millennial children choose to call it. It's always been called virtual memory, still actually is technically, but people do call it swap, even on the Macs for some reason. The younger generation, I don't know, it's called virtual memory, period. But anyhow, so this is of course the Java version of Minecraft. So it's not the Microsoft application version, which would probably get much higher FPS. I'm thinking I might buy that version just to test one against the other. So in flying around, we're hitting a good 57, 58, 61. I'd say overall it's more or less, I think it's more or less about the same. Try and get closer for flying around. It's the whole, you know, ability to go forward and render at the same time and all that we're looking at here. I started building a house up here someplace. Oh, I think maybe I see it. Maybe. Now, the game is really stable. And I was watching a video today and a guy said, you know, if you can get a game, say running in a good solid, say 30 FPS, I mean, that's a pretty playable game, is what he's laying out. And I'm kind of thinking, 30 FPS? Well, okay, whatever. We are getting 40s, 50s, and 60s in Minecraft, so, I mean, and it's extremely playable. We've seen the results of Cyberpunk, and it's set on the high and ultra high mixture settings, and it's actually going flawless. So, I mean, and Far Cry is mental, you know. I haven't tried Far Cry 2 yet. I got to get to doing that eventually. So we're seeing roughly about the same kind of effects with Minecraft, and in going back here, our RAM is sitting around in the 80s. I even have my fan on underneath. My main fans are a little over 3,000 RPM, and I am in performance. I'm not in turbo mode, so I think maybe we should try turbo mode, and let's see if turbo mode gives us any advantage in Cyberpunk, because that's where I would want the advantage anyways, would be in Cyberpunk. Now turbo mode should crank the processors right up to 4.6 gigahertz per core, and it's an 8-core 11th Gen i7, so we'll see. I mean, performance mode's pretty quick already. It's like, you know, 4.1-ish kind of thing. So maybe at 4.6 we might see improved FPS. You never know. So I don't think we're gonna see much of any improvement here. Oh, I'm dead. As far as turbo mode goes. So I really don't see the benefit of turbo mode here, and my fans are really ramping them up. This should be interesting. Well, still 80. Oh, the RAM's actually running a little cooler. Wow, the fans are ramped up over 5,000. Yeah, that'll keep things cooler. 3.6 gigahertz, that's calming down. I think we're going to leave the computer in performance mode instead of turbo, because we're really not seeing a big benefit here, right? So what's the benefit of turbo, except maybe for video editing might be something if we're going to do that. But this is a gamer system. This is not for video editing. It's not what I bought it for. But anyway, so I would say our results are pretty much the same. If anything, programs are going to boot a little quicker. They're going to run a little bit smoother because now that SSD is not being accessed at all. You know, so that's definitely a benefit there. You know, so can't really complain, I guess. But let's just zoom out on here. Definitely we're running in turbo. Our temps are definitely going up well enough that between my cooling pad and my two fans, yeah, it's kicking some snot there. My RAM's doing pretty good. It's at 59 degrees. Processor, GPU, it's about the same, so it's not doing too bad. Clock frequency is fine at 3.8. It's kind of where it sits in performance mode anyway. It will crank up a little bit higher to 4.1 when it needs to, but turbo mode will actually allow it to go full out 4.6 gigahertz per core. So a little bit heavier duty game. I need to find some games that are not so demanding on the video but still wanting that processing power to see, you know, how the FPS is doing on those games. I still have some other testing to do yet with some other video games that I have. See how they do, but otherwise, either way, I'm quite happy. The 32 gig RAM upgrade was a really good idea. If anything, I'm gonna buy the cooling kit for the RAM. They have these ones made out of copper plates that go on either side of the RAM chips. The original RAM chips had like a tape type thing, and tried to pull them off, and well, the one side fine, the other side there's a factory sticker there that identifies the RAM chip, and it's like the sticker took the sticker with it. So it's like, you know what, we'll just leave that RAM sticks alone with their own coolers. I'll just buy some ones off Amazon. It's only to do both sides of a chip is about $10 a piece, so you know that's per kit of each RAM, so 20 bucks, and I can get some coolers. Keep the RAM a little bit more cooler would be nice, but otherwise it's going to get cooled really well from the cooling pad I have for this thing. So but yeah, so I don't see us gaining that much in the way of FPS here. Like I said, I am going to try out the Minecraft Microsoft version, because this is supposed to be an application version, where the one I'm running is Java app. And the Java app, your best you're going to see is about 60 frames per second, you know. And but I'm definitely impressed with this computer when it comes to my Far Cry games and my other games that are running quite fast FPS. But Cyberpunk especially, definitely impressive on this machine. More impressed on this than I was on my Ryzen 7. You know, NVIDIA graphics, they're just way better than AMD stuff, I'm sorry to say, but NVIDIA is, after all, the gamer's choice of video card brand, so there's a reason for that. So that's what we got. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and see ya.